Hi, this is Coach Chan from Uppercut Martial Arts Studio. Today in our video, we're going to talk about 3-step sparring, a kind of set of system to teach the beginners on how to put distance control between the enemy and themselves into a controlled environment to their advantage, of course. So 3-step sparring, why 3-step? Because we use 3 steps to practice distance control via footwork. Well, of course, this is a fixed stance movement instead of freestyle, free sparring movements to give a better idea to the beginners how they should watch out where they steps. Okay, it's not as difficult as it seems, but you need quite a bit of practice to make sure all your steps is in order. Now, you need a partner to do this exercise, and since I do not have a partner for this video, I will use this dummy as an example. I will try my best to give you a better illustration. The first one is in 3-step sparring, we have 5 counter attacks. So I'm just going to briefly run through these 5 counter attacks. The first one is knife hand slash and body punch with the same hand. It's quite simple. Every time you do this counter attack, usually you step forward with the right leg. So the first one is to the neck, knife and slash, pull back, body punch. Usually I would explain to the students to go for the rib cage instead of just the waist. All right? If you just point here, they do not really understand how important it is to hit the right spot on the body part to maximize their self-defense ability. So knife hand to the neck, rib cage, body punch, same hand. Okay. The second one is elbow action. In this simulation, we will teach the students to do right elbow action to the face or the neck, depending on which is more favorable to their reach. Now, we will teach the children or the beginner students to put their hand this way to simulate grabbing the head and move forward, elbow action. But we try to train this in a safe environment. Therefore, we do not encourage the students to grab the opponent's head until they are much more stable and mature to execute more advanced technique. So this is considered quite lethal, and that is the reason why we do not encourage them to grab the head. Instead, we just simulate, even though there's a partner there, simulate right elbow action to the face or the neck. That's the second technique. The third one is a sidekick options, where you really need to watch your distance where you step. The first one is right step, left side kick, or left step, right side kick. So when you're in controlled distance, I will talk about the distance later on after this counter attacks, is right side step and left side kick, landing forward with a guarding block. Now, the stepping part is the focus, not the side kick, because we've been training techniques for the past videos. So if you step too far, your side kick will barely reach your opponent. If you step too close, your projection will be wasted, because if your knee is so close to the opponent, you can barely maximize your strike. So this is a very good exercise to step at the right distance, and you can choose the body or the face for your side kick, landing forward with a guarding block. And of course, number 4 is the mirror, left side step, right side kick, landing forward with a guarding block. So left and right side is what we strive for when we want to train ourselves to be flexible both sides. All right, we don't train only one side, we train both sides. Okay, which is the reason why in our pattern, color belt patterns, most of them left and right side is similar. Okay, the last one will be, assuming there's an incoming punch, you will need to push the incoming punch away and slide to the side of your opponent with a sitting stance. Right punch to the face, left punch to the body. So all these 5 counter attacks requires frequent training, so that when you go for tests, you will need to show the examiner how well coordinated you are, all right, and execute your technique. So there are 2 parts: coordination of distance and execution of techniques. So if I do the usual test style, when you go for upgrading tests, usually the last step is inner forearm block, where you're blocking the incoming punch, walking stance. So you will be second, third, fourth, and fifth. Then power. So these are the 5 counter attacks that you have to demonstrate to the instructor your ability to control distance and execution of your reflex, your counter attack. And that will bring us to the beginning part of 3-step sparring. It's quite difficult for me to explain how you step on that, but I'll try my best. The first thing is, when you perform a punching walking stance, you will pay attention on the front hand and leg aligned together. So that is the reason why we do this exercise, because if your step and your punch is not aligned, your coordination of this 3-step sparring does not work. Because if your leg cannot reach your opponent, your punch will not reach your opponent. That is the assumption. So if your step is too small, you will not reach. So if you extend and make sure the leg is at the side of your opponent, then your strike will reach. And hence, every time you move 3-step, every time like this, I start with the right leg punch, the opponent will step back with the right leg and execute an inner forearm block to block the front leg. Now, when I perform the forward punch, I have to step outside with my front leg of the opponent's front leg. That means it's stepping outside. So that's the first step. So if your punching hand and leg is aligned, that means we are able to meet with my inner forearm block and their punch together. Now that is the point of 3-step sparring training, to control distance and to improvise when your opponent did not have a technique where the front leg and lead hand is aligned. Some of them is short, some of them is too far back, some of them are taller, some of them are shorter. So where their hand will point differs. Alright, as instructor, usually we try to find both partners the same height, same build, therefore they are able to understand the concept and move on from there. But sometimes we do not have a perfect partner, some too tall, some too short, so which make a very difficult partner in that case, whereby for kids or 3 feet height students, I will actually ask the taller person to go on their knees to try to project the same body height. Therefore, you can provide the training. So that is how you set it up. So in 3-step sparring, the whole execution will be this way. I'm the attacker. I will say, "Ay," then to signal to your opponent that I'm ready to punch, but I will not punch until the opponent is ready by taking their time to adjust the distance between them. When they are ready, they will shout the second shout. Then the first attacker will start punching, and at the same time, the defender will sit back, continuously moving towards this direct 3 times. And after the 3rd time, the defender will counter attack, slight body punch. And hence you have 5 sets of counter attack, and for both both person who are training this 3-step sparring to each take turns executing this technique. Alright, I hope you understand this concept. The way we train self-defense technique will be from 3-step sparring, which we focus on how you respond by keeping the distance back and forth. See that? This way. Instead of the attacker move forward but you're not moving. This is not what we want to train our students to respond. So when they move forward, you step back. And hence, whichever direction you move, you are still maintaining the striking distance. Alright? Not safe distance. Because this one, the hands does not meet at all. Alright, so that's the point of 3-step sparring. And after that, when you advance to another belt, like green belt onwards, we'll start to practice 2-step. But most students or Taekwondo school here in Malaysia does not really focus on 2-step. They will jump straight to 1-step sparring, where the focus will be immediate counter attack. So for example of 1-step. So I'm standing here, I'm the attacker, alright? I will shout, "Hey." When you're ready, you shout, "Hey." When I punch, that sequence when they punch, immediately you respond, knife hand slash body punch. Now that is training your timing to respond to an attack. Okay. Now 1-step sparring for junior belt is quite straightforward. It's all punches, middle punch. So whatever technique that they block is based on punch. But for seniors, red belt and onward, especially the black belt, the attack for 1-step sparring can be anything. Can be spear hand, can be throat spear, alright, poking the eye, alright, knife and slash to the neck, a front kick, can be anything, and the partner together will start to practice the self-defense technique in response. So sometimes front kick come, we'll push it aside and kick it back to your opponent. That is triggering your self-defense reaction. Right? Self-defense reaction is different from free sparring. Okay? But 3-step sparring is training the students to recognize what they need to get ready for free sparring when they reach yellow-green belt. Alright? You might seem quite early for yellow-green belt to start, but the way they start sparring is different, which I will touch on free sparring topic when the time comes. Yellow belt, there's still no free sparring, 1-step sparring. Then yellow-green, we have 1-step sparring and free sparring. So at the moment today, we are talking about 3-step sparring for white-yellow belt. So I hope you understand what is the training module we are bringing the students in Taekwondo towards. And I hope you enjoy the video. A very short, informative video, as I put it. And I hope to see you in next video. I would believe we will be talking about application for white yellow belt techniques. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And if you have any question, please post a comment at the bottom. Okay, so thank you very much. Bye bye.